Some of the deepest mines in the world extend miles below the surface of the Earth. Deep, dark pits that stretch on into forever. The Earth is filled with them. We've used them to mine a lot of things, from salt to gold to obscure metals like gallium and tantalum. But every so often you'll find a mine that is less about the ore hidden inside it than some other odd inhabitants. So join us as we're counting down the top 15 bizarre things that have been found in mines. Let's start off with number 15, a preserved body. A body in a mine, sadly, isn't all that rare. Mining accidents have claimed millions over the last century, especially in coal mines. But what was found in Sweden's Falun copper mine back in 1719 stood out. Miners dredged up a body from a long-abandoned, flooded section of the mine. His legs were missing, but everything else from the clothes to the flesh was eerily intact. It looked like he died days earlier, even though that part of the mine hadn't been used in decades. They placed the body on public display, hoping someone would identify him. A woman named Margaret Olsdottir came forward. She said it was her fiancé missing for 42 years. As the body dried out, it began to harden and turn wood-like. The reason: he had been preserved in vitriol-rich water, loaded with copper sulfate. Once it began to evaporate, the body slowly decayed. Oddly, he remained on display for 30 more years before being buried, rediscovered during renovations, and finally laid to rest for good. Number 14. A data archive. Once a mine is empty, what do you do with a giant hole in the earth? Some turn into toxic dumps, but others, data vaults. As it turns out, mines are perfect for storing digital information. They're naturally cool, stable, and safe from external threats like wildfires or floods. In July 2020, GitHub packed 21 terabytes of open-source data into the Arctic World Archive in Svalbard, Norway, deep inside a decommissioned coal mine. The initiative is called the GitHub Archive Program. Their mission: to preserve the world's open-source code for at least 1,000. The data is encoded onto ultra-durable film reels, sealed in containers and tucked safely underground. This includes everything from operating systems and programming languages to forgotten gems from developers worldwide. If humanity ever needed to reboot Bilimus, this mine might be the spark. While some bury treasure, others bury knowledge, hoping the future digs it up when it's needed most. It's a digital time capsule with a shelf life longer than most civilizations. Number 13, a wild, toxic dog. Lots of towns adopt strays that wander into the right place at the right time. But not every stray lives in a mine filled with toxic sludge. In Montana's Berkeley Pit, a former open-pit copper mine now filled with heavy metal-laced water, lived a mysterious mutt known only as the oddities. First spotted in 1986, he drifted in and out of the site like a ghost. No one owned him, but everyone knew him. He avoided people, never stayed long, and popped up when no one expected him. Hence the name. Locals tossed him food, and somehow he thrived in one of the most contaminated places in America. When he passed in 2003, environmental engineers ran tests on his fur. What they found was shocking. His coat contained 128 times the normal arsenic level found in dogs. Yet he survived for how? No one knows. The auditor didn't just live near danger, he soaked it into his skin and kept walking. A legend wrapped in fur and mystery. Number 12, the Titanoboa. The largest snake in the world today is the green anaconda. Though the reticulated python might beat it in length, the anaconda wins in sheer bulk, topping 500 pounds and stretching over 30 feet. For most people, even the thought of one is nightmare fuel. But evolution had something far worse in mind. In a Colombian coal mine, researchers uncovered the fossil of a serpent so massive it makes modern giants look like worms. Named Titanoboa, this prehistoric predator stretched over 40 feet and weighed in at more than 2,000 pounds, a literal ton of snake. To put that in perspective, it was the size of a moose or small car, coiled into muscle. Its body would have been as thick as a grown man's waist, and its power unmatched in its swampy habitat. Living roughly 58 million years ago, shortly after the dinosaurs vanished, Titanoboa had no rivals. Anything that crossed its path, turtles, crocodiles, or any creature too slow to escape, probably didn't make it out alive. Number 11. Federal retirement files. When most people retire, they expect a tidy little process. Some paperwork, a final paycheck, maybe a party. If you work for the US government, though, your retirement file takes a much stranger journey. Every federal worker's records, past and present, are stored in a limestone mine. No joke. About 630 feet underground in Boyers, Pennsylvania, sits the Office of Personnel Management's paper archive, staffed by over 600 people. Every day, trucks arrive with thousands of retirement documents. With roughly 7,000 federal employees retiring monthly, it's no wonder the backlog is legendary. But here's the twist: none of it is digitized. They print out digital forms just to file them by hand. It's 2025 and this entire operation runs like it's night. Congress has complained about the inefficiency since 1981, but nothing has changed. Why? Because changing the system would require, well, a system. Until then, millions of retirement records will keep piling up in a literal cave, a bureaucratic time capsule buried in stone. Number 10. 2-billion-year-old water. Water inside a cave isn't exactly a surprise. Underground rivers, lakes, and dripping stalactites are practically part of the ambiance. But scientists in Timmins, Ontario, found water that was anything but ordinary. Deep inside a Canadian mine, they uncovered the oldest water ever discovered, at least 2 billion years old. That's older than multicellular life itself. Scientists tested noble gases like xenon and helium to determine its age, and the findings were jaw-dropping. The water had been isolated so long it held clues to early Earth's chemistry, and possibly even how life could survive on other planets. It's not drinkable, though. With salinity levels 8 times higher than seawater, it would burn your throat before it quenched anything. Technically, it's not toxic, but it's definitely hostile. Think of it as the liquid equivalent of a fossil ancient trapped in stone, and holding secrets from a time when Earth was still figuring itself out. It's not the kind of water you bottle, it's the kind you study very carefully. Number 9. A bike trail. If your idea of biking involves a sunny park trail or a roadside path, Slovenia has something that'll throw your expectations off a cliff. Literally underground, in the town of Mejica, a lead and zinc mine that shut down over 2 decades ago found a new life as one of the most bizarre cycling routes on Earth. Known as the Black Hole Trail, it winds 10 kilometers through dark, twisting mine tunnels and descends over 150 meters across 5 different levels. This isn't a casual cruise, it's a full-blown enduro trail meant for serious riders. The terrain is rough, visibility is low, and getting lost is a very real risk, which is why you're not even allowed in without a guide. The path twists through former mining chambers, narrow shafts, and echoing stone corridors that once held industrial machinery. Riding through it feels less like a workout and more like an adventure thriller. If you ever wanted to pedal through pure darkness, surrounded by rock and history, this is it. Number 8. A stash of In 2016, a Belgian teacher wandered through an old mine tucked inside a French quarry. Deep in the tunnels, he stumbled on something strange: rows of vintage European cars quietly rusting away. They dated back to the 1930s, and while time hadn't been kind to them, it was clear they hadn't ended up there by accident. Most believe these cars were hidden during World War II, likely to keep them out of Nazi hands. During the war, German forces confiscated personal property at will, including vehicles. Whoever owned these cars probably hoped to come back for them when the war was over. Unfortunately, that never happened. Today, the mine remains a makeshift tomb for dozens of rusting relics. While they hold little value on the market due to corrosion, the historical significance is undeniable. It's less of a classic car collection and more of a time capsule, one that offers a haunting glimpse into a world preparing for the worst and never getting the chance to return. Number 7. A theme park. Salina Turda might not sound like a thrill-seeker's paradise, but beneath the name lies one of the strangest underground amusement parks in the world. Located in Romania, the site was originally a salt mine, with its first recorded mention dating all the way back to... It operated for nearly 1,000 years before closing in... During WWWA, it briefly served as a bomb shelter before once again falling silent. That silence didn't last. In the 1990s, after an ambitious renovation project, the mine reopened not as a tourist attraction, but as a subterranean wonderland. Carved 120 meters into the earth, Salina Turda now boasts a full-blown amusement park. There's mini-golf, bowling, billiards, a Ferris wheel, and even an underground lake where you can paddle around in a rowboat. Visitors can descend by elevator, or if they're brave enough, take the stair. Between the cavernous chambers, salt-covered walls, and surreal lighting, it's like stepping into another world. Not exactly Disneyland, but definitely unforgettable. Number 6. World's largest freshwater dive resort. The Bonne Terre Mine, carved into the rock beneath Missouri, began as a lead mine and operated for over a century before shutting down in 1962. When the pumps stopped running, the lower levels began to flood, and didn't stop. By the time new owners acquired the site in the 1970s, the bottom 3 levels were completely submerged. That's 88 miles of underwater tunnels, now forming the world's largest underground freshwater lake. Today, it's known as the Billion-Gallon Lake, and it's a diver's dream. The water stays at a stable temperature, and over 500,000 watts of lighting illuminate the eerie underground maze. Much of the old mining equipment remains untouched beneath the surface. Rails, carts, tools, all preserved like an industrial Atlantis. Above water, there are 17 miles of walkable shoreline, but it's the depths that attract seasoned divers. With some sections reaching 60 feet deep and only accessible through tight, winding passageways, it's not a place for casual swimming. It's a descent into history. Number 5. Klerksdorp Spheres. Were they dropped into the earth by bored aliens? Not quite, but the Klerksdorp Spheres have confused plenty of people since they were first unearthed in the pyrophyllite mines of Ottosdal, South Africa. These small, reddish-brown orbs are often flat and grooved, with some bearing 3 parallel ridges that make them look suspiciously handmade. Add a metallic sheen and perfect symmetry, and you've got conspiracy fuel. Despite wild claims, alien tech, zero-gravity machining, or ancient artifacts, the truth is far more geological. These spheres are natural concretions, formed by volcanic ash and sediment hardening over time. Still, their appearance is strange enough to warrant a second look. Some theorists have claimed they're over 3 billion years old, predating life as we know it. Others say they're dinosaur eggs or unknown metals. In reality, they're nature's handiwork, like Utah's Moki marbles or the Moeraki boulders of New Zealand. But hey, they still ended up in a museum, and that's more than most rocks can say. Number 4. Pepita Canaã. The world's largest surviving gold nugget wasn't pulled from legend. It came from Brazil. In 1983, during the Serra Pelada gold rush, miner Julio de Deus Field discovered the Pecanã in the Naked Mountain region. Weighing in at a staggering 60.82 kilograms, the nugget is roughly the size and heft of an average adult man. Of that, 52.33 kilograms is pure gold. Today, it sits in all its shimmering glory inside the Banco Central Museum in Brasilia. Though massive, it's not the biggest ever recorded. That title belongs to Australia's legendary Welcome Stranger, uncovered in 1869 in Victoria, barely beneath the surface near a tree root. It weighed an astonishing 72 kilograms, but was broken up before anyone could document it properly. Then came the Welcome Nugget, found 11 years earlier by a lunch-breaking laborer wielding a pickaxe. He fainted on the spot. That chunk of gold later toured the globe before being melted down into sovereigns by the Royal Mint. Its scale replica now rests at Museums Victoria in Melbourne. Number 3. Wolfsegg Iron. Also known as the Salzburg Cube, the Wolfsegg iron is one of those artifacts that immediately stirs debate. It was reportedly discovered in the 19th century at an Austrian iron foundry near Braunau, when workers split open a block of lignite and found a small metal cube lodged inside. It was covered in rust and oddly smooth, giving the impression it had no business being there. Early theories ran wild. Some even claimed it was a chunk of a meteorite. Naturally, it earned a spot on the growing list of out-of-place artifacts that conspiracy theorists love to obsess over. Eventually, cooler heads suggested a more grounded explanation. Most experts now believe the object is simply a piece of 19th century cast iron, likely used as ballast in old mining equipment. It may have accidentally found its way into the coal seam, where it sat undisturbed until the miners cracked it open. Strange? Sure. Mysterious relic from space? Probably not. Number 2, Kyohatwi. The rarest mineral on Earth isn't locked in a vault or mounted in a crown. It's a deep orange crystal with a name few can pronounce, Kyawat, discovered in Myanmar's Mogok region. It's so rare that only one known sample exists. Just one. Its chemical formula, Bi-Qupas Sb504, identifies it as a natural bismuth antimonite. But where it come from? That's still a mystery. According to legend, unverified of course, gem hunters stumbled upon it in 2010 and sold it off at a local market, unaware of what they were holding. It eventually made its way to a geologist and then to the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County, where it still resides today. No one knows exactly how it formed. The only thing certain is that it's one of a kind. Scientists have since replicated synthetic versions in labs, but nothing has matched the original. It's a mineral so rare it may as well be a geological ghost, glimpsed once and never again. Number 1, dozens of In 2016, Belgian gym teacher Vince Michel was exploring an abandoned quarry in central France when he stumbled upon a strange and silent graveyard. Parked in rows at the bottom of a mine shaft sat dozens of rust-covered cars from the 1930s, mostly Citroëns, Peugeots, and Renaults, layered in dust, forgotten by time. Some were lined up 2 or 3 abreast as if they'd been parked there just yesterday. Inquiries later revealed the cars had been stashed during World War II, hidden from German occupying forces who were confiscating vehicles across France. Whoever hid them clearly never made it back. The mine became their unintentional tomb, a snapshot of wartime desperation and hope. Most of the vehicles remain underground, preserved as a tribute to the original owners who never returned. A few of the rarer models have since been carefully extracted, but the rest are left untouched. Rusted relics buried in shadow, whispering stories of escape plans that never got a second chapter. If you've enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.